court will not deport the refugee who assaulted a minor because it did not last long enough.
This is the insanity, like the level of insanity and the level of evil that we're dealing with.
We put the cuffs, we put them on the plane and send them back from wherever they came from.
How are you going? Thanks for joining me. Campbell here from Autodidactic 2. Yes, the mass immigration issue is still going strong, and we're really starting to see some of the results of this. And let's just say it's not good for the local inhabitants.
Hanson has warned Australians the life they had growing up was slipping away. We were once a country so rich in resources, in harmony and in security that we were called the lucky country. Our national slogan was, "She'll be right," because it always was. It's now clear from talking to everyday Australians attending One Nation's branch launches that Australia is no longer right. Australians are working harder and still going backward. Social cohesion is unravelling in the face of immigration, mass migration. Our children do not have the opportunities my generation enjoyed. Buying a home, starting a family and enjoying a life of peace and abundance is not in the future of most young Australians. This is called managed decline. Homelessness in Australia is rampant in a way that just a few years ago would have caused outrage. People now walk past the tent cities and rough sleepers, and rather than outrage, they give thanks that they have been spared so far. Farmers are being demonised using net zero junk science, reducing their ability to grow food and fibre to feed and clothe the world. The United Nations World Economic Forum Net Zero is about transferring wealth from everyday citizens into the pockets of predatory, parasitic billionaires who are being protected with an increasing security state designed to control us, not protect us. We now have ruinous electricity bills, racketeering from foreign-owned insurance companies, perversion disguised as tolerance, and sex instruction manuals written for young children available to read in the children's section of public libraries.
Well, there's a lot in that, and obviously that's Australia, but this is going on all around, the Western world, is that what we call it? Like Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. America's a bit of a different story, but this kind of stuff, it's still happening over there, right? There's a lot of turmoil going on, and this is what this video is going to be about, the mass immigration and how it is changing and infiltrating the culture of the people that live there. And this is not, to their detriment. This is not a good thing, in my opinion.
Well, we've got the latest immigration numbers. Get a load of this. Every day, Australia is taking in 1,544 new people. That's the equivalent of 5 fully loaded Boeing 787 Dreamliners. That's day after day, week after week. In the first 6 months of this year, 279,000 arrivals. That's more than the population of Hobart, and that's just for 6 months. If we zoom out further and look at the 2024-2025 financial year, we've had 457,000 new arrivals. That's nearly 500,000. Basically, the population of Canberra, almost 3 times the number of people in Cairns. So at this pace, in 3 years from now, we'll add 1.4 million people. And this is why you've got a number of people planning big protests on the 31st of August and vowing to take back our country. They're not racist or xenophobic to want to protect the Australian way of life. Can someone ask the Prime Minister at his big Canberra Talkfest this week, with 1,544 new arrivals every day, day after day, where are they all going to live? And can someone ask Anthony Albanese, has he got any room at the lodge?
That's a lot of people. There's only around 25 million people in Australia. So if we're talking 450,000 refugees, immigrants, whatever you want to call them, a year, that's like 2% of our population increase in 1 year. And everyone coming from countries that have different religious beliefs, different cultural beliefs, different ways of life. And it's too much. And as you know, it's really affecting Australians as well and their quality of life and the choices that they have.
Good evening. A former immigration detainee controversially released by the High Court is back behind bars, accused of a brutal Melbourne bashing that's left a victim clinging to life.
The 43-year-old laughed as he fronted court today, telling the magistrate it was all a joke to him.
This freed immigrant originally from Zimbabwe is now back behind bars, accused of a brutal assault in Footscray.
What happened?
Friday Yakoju allegedly bashed and stomped on the head of his 62-year-old victim, leaving him bleeding and unconscious on the ground.
Somebody kick him, mate?
Yeah, someone kicked him.
The 43-year-old was released from detention after a controversial High Court ruling in November 2023. It's understood Border Force officers were quick to the scene yesterday morning as police took Friday Yakoju into custody. Mr Yakoju, who was on bail today, laughed as he entered the dock at the magistrate's court, saying, "This is a joke to me." The prosecutor indicating his charge of seriously causing injury may be upgraded. The victim is yet to stabilise on life support, she said, and is unlikely to survive the injuries. Mr Yakoju yelled out a number of times, making allegations against the victim. His lawyer requesting he urgently sees a psychiatrist. The magistrate was told it's not the first time Mr Yakoju has been in custody. The 43-year-old didn't apply for bail and won't return to court until October. Geordie Wright, 7 News.
I mean, what do you say to that? A 62-year-old who is now going to die. So that is, right, red rum, right? If you know what that is. And he's laughing because he knows he's not going to be punished for this. He's going to get away scot-free. He'll probably go out to a government-funded, taxpayer-funded house, right, and get money. And like they said, this is not his first attack. And the problem is this is happening everywhere. And it's like I said, when you bring people from a different culture with different standards, different religious beliefs, different beliefs on how they can treat other people, a lot of it women, then you have an issue, right? And this is what people, the good people of these countries, are against, is what these people are bringing in, the kind of people. And, you know, don't get me wrong, this is all planned, right? Yes, there's a book, the Kalergi Plan, you can read that. It sort of talks about what's going on now, right? And it was written 50 years ago. And it is to clash cultures, right, and to create unrest. And they're sending in the worst of the worst. They're not sending in hardworking families who want to make a new life. They're sending in basically fighting age males is like 80% of the immigration that is coming in to white countries. Yes, I said it, white countries, right? We have white countries, we have black countries, we have Asian countries. And immigration is fine to a level if it's not, you know, going to disrupt the country they're going into as far as housing prices and all this kind of stuff, the workforce. But bringing in mass immigration of violent criminals is clearly not good.
Good evening. A former immigration detainee, controversially released by the High Court, is back behind bars, accused of a brutal Melbourne bashing that's left a victim clinging to life.
The 43-year-old laughed as he fronted court today, telling the magistrate it was all a joke to him.
This freed immigrant originally from Zimbabwe is now back behind bars, accused of a brutal assault in Footscray.
What happened?
Friday Yakoju allegedly bashed and stomped on the head of his 62-year-old victim, leaving him bleeding and unconscious on the ground.
Somebody kick him, mate?
Yeah, someone kicked him.
The 43-year-old was released from detention after a controversial High Court ruling in November 2023. It's understood Border Force officers were quick to the scene yesterday morning as police took Friday Yakoju into custody. Mr Yakoju, who was on bail today, laughed as he entered the dock at the magistrate's court, saying, "This is a joke to me." The prosecutor indicating his charge of seriously causing injury may be upgraded. The victim is yet to stabilise on life support, she said, and is unlikely to survive the injuries. Mr Yakoju yelled out a number of times, making allegations against the victim. His lawyer requesting he urgently sees a psychiatrist. The magistrate was told it's not the first time Mr Yakoju has been in custody. The 43-year-old didn't apply for bail and won't return to court until October. Geordie Wright, 7 News.
I mean, what do you say to that? A 62-year-old who is now going to die. So that is, right, red rum, right? If you know what that is. And he's laughing because he knows he's not going to be punished for this. He's going to get away scot-free. He'll probably go out to a government-funded, taxpayer-funded house, right, and get money. And like they said, this is not his first attack. And the problem is this is happening everywhere. And it's like I said, when you bring people from a different culture with different standards, different religious beliefs, different beliefs on how they can treat other people, a lot of it women, then you have an issue, right? And this is what people, the good people of these countries are against, is what these people are bringing in, the kind of people. And, you know, don't get me wrong, this is all planned, right? Yes, there's a book, the Kalergi Plan, you can read that. It sort of talks about what's going on now, right? And it was written 50 years ago. And it is to clash cultures, right? And to create unrest. And they're sending in the worst of the worst. They're not sending in hardworking families who want to make a new life. They're sending in basically fighting age males is like 80% of the immigration that is coming in to white countries. Yes, I said it, white countries, right? We have white countries, we have black countries, we have Asian countries. And immigration is fine to a level if it's not, you know, going to disrupt the country they're going into as far as housing prices and all this kind of stuff, the workforce. But bringing in mass immigration of violent criminals is clearly. So here's an AI answer. Basically, it says studies show that the 20 to 34 age range is the most common for immigration, and men have historically made up a slightly larger portion. They're saying worldwide it's 51.9%. A male, this is AI though, right? I've looked through, you know, a lot of these, and basically they're not really giving stats, but I found this one: asylum seeker demography, young and male. As you can see here, asylum seekers from non-European origins more likely to be young adult men. Okay, females 18 to 34, all is 11. This is obviously, you know, percentage-wise. Males 42, right, in the same age group. And you can see each one is much more, it's dominated by men. Right here are all the countries, and you can see males age 18 to 34 is by far it's the greatest percentage, and it's not 51.9%, right? Look at this, 80% compared to 2 in females, right? 10% compared to 47, 13 to 50. Like, this is crazy, right? They are all young, like I said, fighting age men, right, that they're bringing in to disrupt our countries.
All right, this guy's an absolute scumbag, and let me tell you why. An 84-year-old woman was allegedly raped in her home in Maryland, Western Sydney, a few days ago. The man charged for South City Kui, a 41-year-old Afghan immigrant. But here's the part that's going to knock you flat. And the media, they won't tell you this. At the time of the alleged assault, he was out on 7 community correction orders. 7. That means he had already been sentenced 7 times. And instead of prison, our justice system just gave him chance after chance to serve those sentences in the community. Now, ask yourself this. At a time of reckless mass immigration, is this system keeping violent immigrant offenders out of jail just because our government doesn't want immigration to look bad? bad, because that's exactly how it looks. Now let me be clear, I've spent time in Afghanistan. I know not every person from that country is bad, but I also know the reality of the culture, a culture where women have no rights. Children are treated as property, and girls can be married off at the age of 9. That's not a conspiracy, that's a lived, witnessed fact. And we're bringing in people raised in that environment into Australian communities with no accountability and no integration.
And that's it. That's like he said, and that these people have different standards, right? Different morals and ethics to us. And these, I mean, an 82-year-old, I mean, this is, I mean, that should be death. That should be the death penalty. That is uh, no words, right? And yes, this topic annoys the hell out of me because it's so preventable. As you heard, that guy who did that had already been caught 7 times and it just kept being released and being released and being released. And who are the major victims of these people? It's our young women and women in general and the elderly, right? We heard that the other attack in Australia was on a 62-year-old. Like they have no morals, these people that are doing this. And like you said, it's not everyone in these countries, but the fact that they have different ethics, especially the males in how they think of women and how they can treat women and children, it's a recipe for disaster. But again, that's the plan. So what do we do about this, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I'm gonna urge all of you guys to watch this video of a father whose 15-year-old daughter got raped by a Syrian migrant here in the Netherlands. And in this video, this dad addresses the city council and exposes them for the way that they have been treating him and his family ever since this horrific rape happened. And mind you, this asylum seeker who raped his daughter is still free. They never arrested him. The only thing that they did was transfer him to another municipality so he can just go and rape another girl there. But he never was brought to justice. What they did do, though, is they arrested the dad. They're continuously intimidating the father and harassing him for trying to protect his daughter. They are trying to label him as a troublemaker in the media. And they've even tried to prevent him from giving the very address that you see in the video by contacting the psychotherapist that they appointed to his daughter's case and trying to convince the therapist to convince the dad not to come and speak because it would be bad for healing. This is the insanity, like the level of insanity and the level of evil that we're dealing with. These are the same tactics that we've seen in Rotherham. The exact same tactics. They're trying to make the victim into the perpetrator and the perpetrator into the victim. That's also what this dad says when he's visibly breaking down, when he's giving this address. He's asking them, does my daughter's life not matter to you at all? And the answer is no, his daughter's life does not matter to these people because these people want this open border policy. They want this multicultural society in which sexual assaults have skyrocketed, and they want to cover it up when it happens. And that's why they come after the dad. It's sick, it's evil, and I urge you guys to watch this because it makes you wonder, how often has this happened before? How often is this happening? That fathers, mothers, families are harassed and intimidated into silence after their child gets raped or murdered, worse, by an asylum seeker. It's Rotherham all over again.
It's the same story everywhere, right? And it's like we heard in the first video that this is all being pushed by psychopathic billionaires, right? Who want this. They want the chaos. One, because it makes people easier to control. They get more power and more money. But I think the underlying thing that's going on here is, we've all seen what these people are, what they worship, and what they are into, right? With their ceremonies and rituals and all this stuff. It's pretty clear, that the whole entertainment industry, the news industry, and the billionaires, they are all into it. So they are trying to normalize all this stuff, basically, and create a hell on earth, right? Where they get to do what they want, and the people, the people, right, men and women, are just, they're playthings, right?
The court will not deport the refugee who assaulted a minor because it did not last long enough. Swedish justice ruled that the attack was not serious enough to justify the deportation of the assailant. The Alto Norland Court of Appeals decided that Yazid Mohammed, an 18-year-old Eritrean refugee, convicted of attacking Maya Auber, 16, will not be deported once he serves his sentence. The attack occurred on September 1st, 2024, when the young woman was walking home after missing the bus following her shift at McDonald's. In a pedestrian tunnel, she was intercepted and assaulted by Mohammed. The victim and her family reported the incident immediately. The court sentenced him to only 3 years in prison, but the tribunal ruled that the act did not last long enough to be considered an exceptionally serious crime, and therefore did not apply deportation. According to Swedish law, refugees can only be expelled if they commit a crime considered exceptionally serious. The court considers that it doesn't constitute an exceptionally serious crime that warrants deportation, the court wrote in its ruling. The tribunal concluded that there was no current threat to public order, so Mohammed will serve his sentence in Sweden and will not be returned to Eritrea.
So again, the taxpayers, the victims, right, in this situation have to pay for this guy to be put up in jail. And Sweden, and that was all Sweden. This is what's going on in Sweden, right? Sweden, right? A traditionally blonde hair, blue-eyed country. Yes, I said it right again. I mean, oh my God, what it didn't last long enough. I mean, this is insanity, but this just proves, right, that this is them trying to destroy our culture. Like, it really is. And the Swedish government are now offering 35 grand to these immigrants if they will leave. What the?
The 3 hotel migrants who dragged a woman onto Brighton Beach and raped her have been pictured for the first time. 20-year-old Karin Al-Danasurt, 35-year-old Ibrahim Al-Shaifer, both from Egypt, and 25-year-old Abdullah Ahmadi from Iran, have been charged after a horrifying attack on a 33-year-old woman in the early hours of October 5th. Police say the woman was walking near the Lower Esplanade in Brighton when she was dragged onto the beach and subjected to what prosecutors described as a terrifying ordeal. All 3 men arrived in the UK on small boats and were living in taxpayer-funded asylum hotels in West Sussex. Al-Danasurt and Al-Shaif are both charged with 2 counts of rape, while Ahmadi faces 2 counts of raping the same woman. The court heard that the alleged attack happened the day after Al-Shaif's asylum claim was rejected. All 3 have been remanded in custody and will appear at Lewes Crown Court next month. Police praised the bravery of the victim and said specialist officers are continuing to support her as the investigation continues.
I mean, it's the same story everywhere, right? And I know this video is a little bit darker than my normal videos, but I just feel that this is an important topic to talk about. Like, this is going on everywhere. And, it's definitely happening in Australia, in my country, and we're seeing the crime and everything from it. It's the same story everywhere. It just is. And this is not all that these people want. They want their own law enforced. They don't care about the law of the land that they've moved to. They don't care about the culture, the people. They want to move in and take over. That's the truth.
Whitechapel in East London. A hardline vigilante group is trying to impose Sharia law on unsuspecting members of the public.
Muslim area. Okay?
They're not dressed like that in Muslim area.
Only a handful of men are involved in the self-styled patrols. 5 have been arrested on suspicion of harassment. It's not just drinkers being targeted.
Yeah, you're gay, mate. Get out of here, mate. Get out of here, you fag.
And women wearing skirts above the knee are also being harassed.
What would you do if strangers approached women in your family, publicly scolding them for not following religious laws that have no standing in your country? This scenario isn't hypothetical. It's happening right now across Britain, where men are confronting women for breaking Sharia law while walking freely in their own country.
Her that she is punished and she is stoned to death. And according to the Sharia again, when it comes to women, there must be a hole dug in the earth, in the ground, and she must be covered up to the half of the body, so that her satar does not appear.
Well, that's Sharia law for you. Like stoning to death, and you have to bury them halfway up so they can't even defend themselves. I mean, this is beyond barbaric, but this is Sharia law. And this is not me saying this. This is coming from the followers of that religion. It's coming from their own books. And this is what they're implementing. And this is their way of life in their own countries. Right? This is the problem.
So this one's a little bit controversial, but yesterday we learned that there's 85 Sharia law courts in the UK. My message is plain and simple, and I'm bored of being silent. I'm bored of just, fanning about, treading on eggshells, like trying not to offend people. If you come to the UK and you want to live here, come live here peacefully. Come have all the handouts that our government seems to give you. But do not come here and start telling us the way things should be. If you don't like the UK law, fuck off back home. You can have your own law. We're not interfering with you. We don't give a fuck. Have your own law. Be happy. You don't see me go to Saudi Arabia or Dubai or any Middle Eastern country and start telling them what to do, because that's not right. It's not my country. As much as I want to live elsewhere, I don't really want to live in the UK right now. Wherever I end up, I'm not going to tell them how to live their life and what laws they should have. I'll respect their laws because I'm in their country. It's mental to me that people are so, scared to hurt people's feelings and just want to, let anyone in with open arms and whatever. It's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game. They're already trying to change the laws, bringing their own Sharia law, which doesn't respect our Western culture. And it's just not on. I'm bored of being silent, so here it is. We're one violation off a ban of TikTok, so if this is it, it's been good knowing you.
I'm bored of being silent too. This needs to be discussed. So please do leave me your comments. What do you think about all this and what's going on? Are you in one of these countries that's been affected? And what's your experience been? But, he made a good point. We don't go into other people's countries and tell them how to live and to try and change their laws. So why is it supposed to be acceptable for us to let people do that to us?
Germany has been shaken by an Islamist rally held in Hamburg that has sparked outrage across the country. Organised by the group Muslim Interactive, over 1,000 people gathered.
It's happening everywhere, and there's even interviews around of Muslims basically saying that they're going to outbreed us, the people in the countries they move into. They admit, they just say, look, we have 10 or 12 children, you guys have 1 or 2. We're going to be the majority anyway in the next generation. They don't care that they are here as an invading force. And they clearly don't live in the ways that the people of these countries traditionally lived. They are ruining these cities. and this is what's happening. That first clip, well, they were both from Paris, right? That first clip with the rubbish. And Paris used to be one of the most visited, most beautiful cities in Europe. Now you would not want to go there. And I spent a couple of weeks in the Netherlands, a couple of months ago now, I think, and I noticed the same thing in Amsterdam. It was very dirty. It really was. And it's because I was told they have all these people living on the street now, right? Who are mostly people who've immigrated. And they go through the bins to find the bottles and things that they can get money for, and they just throw all the rubbish on the ground. And apart from that, they are just generally throwing rubbish on the ground and just messing up the whole place. They have no respect at all, right? They are just going into cities and destroying them, and they're graffitiing all over them. They're literally destroying these grand old cities. So again, leave me your comments. And also, guys, give me a like if you like this content, this channel. Subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell, all that kind of stuff. But what is the answer? Because there is just one European country that is not accepting this script.
Poland is exactly what the UK should be. The UK need to learn from the Polish. So I've just come back from Krakow, that's Krakow if you're English, and I've never felt so safe. I had no fear walking the streets in Poland, especially late at night around the city centre. There was no fear of being attacked or being stabbed. It is such a safe place. And this is exactly how the UK should be. We should learn from the Polish.
Poland. And the same when I was in the Netherlands again, I was told that after dark, don't walk down the side alleys, don't go here, don't go there. And it never used to be like that. Now it's turning into an unsafe country and the cities within it. And something else I noticed is, a lot of people, they're not speaking up about it in the Netherlands. Because they think that that makes them a bad person and they're going to offend, or they're going to be seen as a, racist. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't know. But are you in the Netherlands? Please let me know what your experience is. But how did they get to this point in Poland of having a safe, clean country where you can walk the streets at night?
We put the cuffs, we put them on the plane and send them back from whatever they came from. It's simple as that.
So
and
would
all
you say
these
that,
papers.
Would you say that British lawyers and politicians who say it's impossible are not telling the truth?
Well, they do not know how to deal with the real problem. This is not a paper. This is not a film. This is not a movie. This is a real situation. And all these excuses, all these lawyers, I'm a lawyer too. I'm doing my PhD on human rights as well. I know what we can do and how we have to react as a politicians who are responsible for our families, for our citizens. This is not a theory. This is a time for people who can act, not debating. We are debating since 2015, as I said, when Germany started this method. It's time to act. So what I would say to your political elites or to the people, I would say send them back. Do not read anything. Send them back. Protect yourself, because it's not about your fancy way of living. It's about protection. It's about surviving. It's not a joke. So many people are killed, raped, stabbed. How long can you wait? How many must suffer? How many must lose their lives until someone will take action? Now people are taking action. People are taking on the streets. I'm a proud European, proud Christian. I want Europe to be a Europe, not an Asia, Africa, or any other continent. I want Europe to be Europe. I was born here. I love this place. I love Europeans. I want to be European. I don't want to lose my identity.
Seems pretty simple, really, doesn't it? Which just shows us that there's a massive agenda behind this. All these allies, they're all bought and paid for. They don't care. They're not going to be living in these, the areas of these cities where there's issues. They'll be in their mansions, nice and safe, behind their big walls with their bodyguards. So they're not. This is really not going to affect them, apart from probably make them richer, right? So it's an easy thing to solve. Clearly, send them back. So why are no countries doing this? Like I said, because they're all bought and sold, spineless, gimps, right, of the parasite. So what we need is strong people, strong men and women to stand up, and all governments are the problem. Voting in another leader in the current system is not going to help. It's just not. And so we need to have a new leadership come up. Did you spot the difference? It's quite clear, right? How Poland has a complete different country at the moment. And there's one major reason why, and it's because they're not doing mass immigration, right? They're not letting their country be flooded with criminals, with people of different values and ethics, different culture, religion, who see women differently, who are just more violent, right? They just are. The stats are there. This is not my opinion. I don't care what race anyone is. I just care if you're a good person or not. And if you're not, and if you think it's okay to treat women, as objects or children, or to SA people, or to attack them and beat them up and all this kind of stuff, well, you're just a piece of crap, and you should, be exiled from all lands, as far as I'm concerned. Like why we give in to these people and let them get away with this stuff is beyond me. And, I'm sure you're thinking the same thing, right? But this is where we are in 2025. So it really is time for people to find their voice and to stand up and to save their countries, their cultures, etc., for their children, right? We're already in a point now, like my children can't afford houses, right? They're in their 20s. And it's because of the economy. It's because of what the government's been doing, and definitely because of mass immigration. I mean, it's a direct result. Bring more people in, there's not enough houses, demand drives up price. That's simple. And then the whole job market thing, right? A lot of immigrants will work for less money, so it drives the pay down. So they get, our younger people are getting doubly smashed, right? House prices, living expenses go up, wages either stay stagnant or go down. It's not good. Like, if we let this go, then I would not like to see where it ends up. So it can't happen. But there we go, guys. It's, yes, a bit of a more heavy one today. But like I said, I think this is a topic that needs to be talked about more. This is definitely not being put out in the mainstream news. If you, even on the internet, if you're looking around, it won't pop up in front of you most of the time, right? It's being suppressed because it's an agenda. And so I hope you liked it. I hope it didn't freak you out too much. Please let me know your thoughts on all of this. Are you in one of these countries where it's happening? What's your experience? What do you think the solution is? Let me know. And of course, please give me a like if you enjoy this content, and share it around, because like I said, this topic needs to be discussed. It needs to be put in front of people, because the time of doing nothing is way past. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell, all that good stuff, and stay awesome and stick around for a happy dog video. Let's pick up the vibe a bit. All right, talk to you on the next upload.
Not allowed on the bed, you. No!
Ginger! Look at me! Hey, Blaze, you ready to go take your bath?
All I'm saying is don't give me attitude.
Winchester, squeak that damn thing one more time and I swear to God I'll put you outside.
His fat ass already popped the button.
Oh my God! Winnie! Stop!
Eleanor, look at Mama. Hey.
Get up out my face. You just licked your own ass. Oh! Oh!
Oakley, come here. Come
Come here.
Come on out.
Don't you step on the flowers. Layla.